often insufficient and highly unreliable. Mrs. Gladys Kevoto's farm in Motomo, Kitui County stands out like the biblical Canaan, with healthy and flourishing crops, some ready for harvesting. Kevoto has divided her farm into different sections for onions, tomatoes, butternuts, spinach, and pawpaw. Unlike other farmers in the arid and semi-arid region who rely on rain-fed agriculture with nearly zero resorts, Kevoto has invested in farm ponds to collect water runoff during rainy season. It is this water that she uses to irrigate crops by drip irrigation.
I'm using the water ponds, whereby I'm preserving water using these ponds, collecting the flowing water, the ground flowing water. These water ponds, I use the dam liners to cover the pond so that you can retain water.
Her farm has 3 sizable ponds which have made her a reputable farmer and whose farm gates are open for others to get lessons. One corner of the farm is a section for butternuts. At 1.5 months old, the healthy sheets of leaves covering the ground is visible from a distance. The crops are under drip irrigation, and this is by design.
The system of irrigation, I'm using drip irrigation because so that I can use as much little water as possible because of the shortage, which is really water is scarce. We have a streams. Kitui, it has many streams, so I found it important to get an opportunity to use the stream water. I have a small stream, so I'm also collecting water during the rain season. When the water is flowing, I pump the water to my water pans.
The crop takes 3 months to mature. In about a month, the farmer says she expects to harvest 2 tons of butternuts, with a single piece going for 80 shillings. She will rake in a fortune. Yet in another section, she has about half an acre under onions at different stages. Currently, a kilo of onions is retailing at between 120 to 150 shillings. By the time she harvests all her onion crop, Kevoto estimates she will earn slightly over 1 million shillings. The farmer has also ventured into pawpaw farming, another high-yielding crop with good market. The farmer says she spent 80,000 shillings to acquire a set of drip pipes. She also bought 4 10,000-litre plastic water tanks, which are erected on raised ground and where water from the ponds is pumped to, then let loose on the crop through gravity. Each of the farm ponds has a liner at 34,000 shillings per liner. This might look a bit expensive for an ordinary farmer, but Kevoto says it is a worthy investment. Another farms located along Makindu-Athi Keoni Road, which links Makueni and Kitui counties, are greeted by villagers attempting to adapt to a sun-baked, semi-arid countryside which always receives inadequate rainfall. One farm stands out like an oasis in a desert at Kilongoni village on the leeward of Kilema Hill. This is Musioka Kivungi's farm, where he grows fruits and vegetables, irrigating the crop using surface runoff, which is collected into a sprawling farm pond at the homestead. We found the senior Makueni County government official inspecting onion crop, which seemed ready for harvesting.
Okay, we began farming just like 2014 when I did just a small water pan. For basically, I just wanted it for small just basically was for harvesting water for domestic use and domestic consumption. But I ideally, when we got substantial amounts of water, we thought of an idea to start a drip irrigation or small irrigation, and then we test how it goes. And firstly it worked to some bit, but the water pan was drying up in a very fast rate, and also the evaporation rates of this place being an arid and semi-arid area, the evaporation rates are quite high. So we began an idea of how do we expand wet harvesting pan, and also how do we protect water from evaporation and also from just going on the ground. So we did another idea of expansion. We expanded it in 2015. We bought a dam liner, and we harvested quite substantial amounts of water, whereby we did like 1.5 hectares of irrigation. We did onions and tomatoes, and also collards.
Mr. Kivungi's work on the 12-acre farm, which is always a beehive of activities, entails closely supervising workers who at any one point are preparing seedbeds, installing nurseries, translocating seedlings, managing the various plots and harvesting of the various crops. On average, he harvests 25 tons of onion per acre, making at least 2 million shillings. Traders who mainly come from Nairobi come for the commodity at the farm, with the remainder going into the smaller traders who deal in vegetables in smaller neighboring markets.
So people other than, they used to travel like 14 to 16 kilometers maybe to look for tomatoes, to look for sukuma wiki, to look for just 2 to 3 onions. But they basically come in the morning or in the evening, and they get them from this farm, so it cuts a lot of their time in going to look for produce that is readily available to their neighbor and to their doorsteps.
Mr. Kivungi tapped surface runoff on a small road which passes near his farm using a rudimentary canal which directs the water into a sprawling farm pond sited at his homestead through 3 small check dams which prevent silting of the dam to ensure that the pond loses as little water as possible. The pond is designed while deep, and it's covered with an extensive net which minimizes the water loss to evaporation. The water is then pumped into an elaborate pipeline system from where it is fed into the plots of fruits and vegetables throughout the area using a drip irrigation system.